Donald Trump says he's having second thoughts about his first debate with Kamala Harris that's scheduled for September 10th. And he says he started second-guessing the debate after watching its host, ABC News, interview one of his allies. Welcome to Newspeak, I'm Holly Kellum. So recently, Trump posted on Truth Social that he had watched ABC News' chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl interview Republican Senator Tom Cotton on ABC's show This Week. Trump called Karl ridiculous and biased, and the panel of opinionators they had on afterwards a panel of Trump haters. On a side note, you may have noticed that he spelled Karl with a C, but then added a K with a question mark as if he wasn't sure how to spell his last name. To all you spelling nerds out there, it is Karl with a K, and it's Jonathan without an H after the O. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. Trump also brought up the scandal of former CNN commentator Donna Brazile, who later became head of the Democratic National Committee. She was exposed by WikiLeaks for giving debate and town hall questions to then candidate Hillary Clinton in violation of the debate and town hall rules. He wondered out loud if she would be giving the debate questions to the Marxist candidate, which is apparently what he's calling her these days. The context here is that after being let go from CNN over the question leaking scandal, she is now an ABC News contributor. And then he speculated that even if Brazile doesn't give Harris the questions, Harris's good friend Dana Walden might. According to the New York Times, Harris is a longtime friend of Dana Walden, a senior Disney executive whose portfolio includes ABC News. He also brought up George Stephanopoulos, a longtime ABC stalwart. Trump asked where he is, calling him Little George Slopadopoulos, which I think pretty well illustrates what he thinks of him. In addition to being the press secretary of former President Bill Clinton, Trump is suing ABC News and Stephanopoulos in particular for accusing him of raping author E. Jean Carroll in the 1990s. A New York City jury ruled that he likely sexually assaulted her, but that it didn't fit the technical definition of rape. So obviously Trump has beef with the network and sees it as favorable to his opponent. He asked, "Why would I do the debate against Kamala Harris on that network?" He left a cliffhanger at the end, telling his fans to stay tuned. Now, all that said, the moderators of the debate will be the anchor of ABC World News Tonight, David Muir, and ABC News live prime anchor Lindsay Davis. Now, the reason you don't hear Trump saying anything about the moderators is because they haven't been openly anti-Trump. David Muir even got 2 sit-down interviews with Trump while he was president, and I would say, as someone who's sensitive to journalistic bias, I thought he came off as pretty neutral. Now, the questions he asked were, I would say, coming from the left, but in terms of sounding like an advocate, I thought he maintained a pretty professional journalistic cool. He also kept his cool on the Jimmy Kimmel show when Kimmel tried to bait him into making fun of Trump.
I also feel like your hair looks like he thinks his hair looks like.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to touch that one.
The eventuality that Joe Biden wins, rather than saying ABC projects Joe Biden is the winner, will you say ABC projects Donald Trump is the loser?
Well, I think that's where that open will play. We interrupt this special coverage for a message from Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
One of the issues that's being duked out right now between the campaigns is the issue of microphones. During the last presidential debate hosted by CNN, both candidates' mics were muted when it was the other candidate's turn to speak. That was what both campaigns agreed to for this debate as well, but that was when Joe Biden was at the top of the ticket. Now that Harris is the candidate, she's asking that the mics be unmuted. The logic here, sources have told reporters, is that if Trump isn't given any guardrails, he might interrupt her like he did Joe Biden in their 2020 debate.
I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is, the question
Supreme Court
is,
Justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your...
Trump's campaign says they agreed to debate under the current rules and saw no reason to change.
Well, we've already agreed to the rules that we had with the CNN debate, and not only have we agreed, but the Harris camp has agreed as well.
However, Trump has said that he doesn't care.
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on. But the agreement was that it would be the same. as it was last time. In that case, it was muted.
Now, I think if Trump backs out now, it would not be a smart political move. First off, he's the one who's been needling Harris to debate him for weeks now. He knew going into this debate that ABC News is on the left end of the spectrum when it comes to news companies. And I think one of the high points of his campaign has been that he's been willing to walk into the lion's den, so to speak, when it comes to the press and speaking to unfriendly media. To back out now would make it look like he got cold feet. Secondly, he's been pushing Harris to talk more to the media, which I did a whole episode on, linked below. If he backs out now, it would give her an out and make it look like he's the one avoiding the press and not her. But I can also see his perspective that if the rules were changed for Harris, it would be unfair to the process because the Trump campaign had already agreed to the current rules. Quick update here. Before I published, Trump said he had agreed to the debate and that the rules would be the same as the CNN debate, which means mic muting when the other candidate is talking is still on. Now, part of why this is so messy is because of the new debate structure. This is the first year in over 30 years where the campaigns are dealing directly with the media companies themselves. That's because both campaigns, but mainly the Biden campaign, ditched the Bipartisan Commission on Presidential Debates, which had organized the debate since the late 1980s. So, what do you think about the situation? Let me know in the comments below. I do read all your comments and I love to hear your feedback. Thank you, and please keep them coming. Once again, I'm Kellum, and you're watching Newspeak.